In this quick tip, we're going to be looking at the editing of Gallium schedules with the use of the mouse. In particular, the drag functions of the mouse to change the schedule within Gallium. The schedule in Gallium might typically be edited by the use of a right click on a particular item to allow us to insert events before, after, as a child, and also to cut, copy and paste events to rearrange items within the schedule. And we can do that on the timeline or within the list view. This quick tip is going to be looking at alternative ways of editing the schedule, which will use dragging of items in either the timeline or in the list view. So if, for example, I click on this item here, I can drag this to a new position by first hovering over the four-headed arrow, clicking and dragging that to the location that I wish to move it to. If the mouse is in a position where the drag is not valid, we will have the no entry sign. If I position it to a place where it is valid, I'll see a thick vertical line and the no entry sign goes away and it is replaced by a plus button. I let go of the mouse and the item will be moved. Like with other changes, I need to commit that change or to discard it to make it permanent. I can also use the mouse drag items to make minor changes to an event. If I click on this event, I could make changes to the in and out and duration by editing the numbers in the properties, but I can also make those changes by using this double-headed pipe icon. If I click and drag that, I can move it forwards and I can move it backwards. As you can see, if I move it backwards, there will be a gap at the start of the event. And similarly, if I move it forwards, there will be an overlap at the start of the event. If I wish to alter the in and out points of this event, I can do so by using the left pointing and right pointing arrows. So by clicking and dragging this, I can trim the start of the event, again producing a gap, or I can drag this up to the limit of the media to extend it outwards. Similarly, I can take the out point and drag this back or forwards within the limit of the media. For any of these changes, of course, I have to commit or discard them. Similarly, for secondary events, I can click on a secondary event and using the four-headed arrow, drag it to a new position. As it is a secondary event, it needs to be tied to a primary event. So if I drag this and drop it over this primary event, it will appear in the correct position on that keyer with the correct offset. I could also drag this along keyer 4, dropping it in prior to this key, but of course it would just simply replace that key. Looking in the list view, I can similarly use the four-headed arrow and drag items up and down the list. I need to click and drag from the four-headed arrow, and we similarly get a solid line on the point at which the item is going to get dragged, and if I'm dragging it to an invalid point, we get the no entry sign. The point in the schedule where the item will get moved to is the point of the thick line. Moving items within breaks can be done in one of a couple of different ways. If, for example, I want to move an advert from this break to this break, if both of the break headers have been opened, I can simply drag the item from one break into another break in much the same way I would do with a normal primary item. If, however, the brake is empty, that is, we just have a brake header, or it is closed, that is, the arrow is pointing to the right, to drag into that brake header, I need to click on the four-headed arrow and drag that over the down arrow. That will then open that brake and drop it into that group. I can then, of course, rearrange the order by dragging as I wish. The other situation where we may wish to use mouse drag facilities to edit an agenda is to drag from an assets window such as this into either the list view or the timeline view. So I can take this asset and drag this across into the schedule list view, again at a place where we don't have the no entry sign, but we have the solid line, or I can drag it into the timeline view, dropping it in a particular place. I can do this both for primary items and for secondary items. So that is how mouse drag functionality is used to edit the schedule in Gallium orchestration from Pixel Power.